Shemai. Today we're going to have a look at an abundant but often undetected tree. It's the field maple, or Acer campestre, or in Welsh, Maes Gwniolen. It's related to garden acers. Lots of people have them because they're very beautiful trees in their garden. It's also related to sycamore trees. It's called the small-leaved or common maple, and it generally has like a round crown. It's a deciduous tree, so it will lose its leaves now in the winter. It can grow between sort of 12 and 20 metres tall, and it can live for up to about 350 years. Like I said, it's common in hedgerows, often unspotted, and that's why we're going to have a look at being able to identify it today. It's a great tree as well around towns and cities because it can tolerate a certain amount of pollution, so it's often planted in parks. So let's have a look. This field maple we're looking at here is actually a full-size tree. It goes all the way up there. But we're going to have a look first of all at the bark. The bark generally starts off as being pale brown and smooth. So if you have a look there. And as it gets older, it gets more of a grey-brown and develops these sort of corky ridges. And it's really interesting. Now, I wonder if I can see up inside there. I don't know if you can see that there. They're like little stripy ridges on it. And the branches generally sort of, if you can see here, curve down. They sort of droop before then growing back upwards. So they're quite a good one to look out for. The leaves have 5 lobes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're about 4 to 8 centimetres long and can actually be wider than they are long. They can be about 5 to 10 centimetres wide, and the front lobe, so this bigger lobe here, has little side lobes that go with it as well, so these little there and there. The stalk, if I broke the stalk off there, there's a sort of a milky juice that will come out of that as well. And one of the best things about these, about all acers, but this field maple, is that in the winter the leaves will turn yellowish red in the autumn due to a pigment called anthocyanins, which create the red colour. And if I just bring it down onto the floor, you can already see that some of the ones that have dropped are already turning yellow. After they flower in about April to May, the seeds start to grow, and they're usually ready about now, so August to September kind of time. And it's certainly the children's favourite and my favourite, these fantastic winged seeds. Now, acers, so like this field maple, produce these winged seeds that wind distributed, get blown to new locations. But field maple, the seeds are paired, so there's one on this side and one on this side, and grow horizontally. Now sycamore, which are of the Acer family as well, they will droop down a bit more, so these are quite easy to spot. And also, if you look closely at the wings there, they have like a reddish kind of tinge to the colour there, to the wing. This field maple, you can see it's just the other side of this fence here, has been here for quite a while now. This is quite an old one, but the field maples are great woods. The wood is fine grained, it's hard, and it's good for making things on a lathe, so wood turning, because it can be turned very thin and has a great colour to it. It's also the favoured wood for making harps. When it's found in hedges, now like I say, this is a tree, but when it's found in hedges, it can often indicate quite a big age, quite a significant age to that hedge, as these days it's rarely planted, especially in the past 200 years. Field maples support large numbers of insects and birds, including ladybirds and moths, and actually too many to sort of mention here, and even the ivy growing up this one will help to support other insects and wildlife. Field maples can be seen in lots of churches. They're often included in carvings that decorate church architecture. Also, they were traditionally coppiced and pollarded. Now, we've said about coppicing before, when they're cut down to ground level and they will sprout up, sending lots of fresh growth. And pollarded is when they're cut sort of above the height of animals, so above the height of cows, and they'll do exactly the same and sprout and grow many branches, but out of the reach of the animals. The wood, we said it's got a beautiful colour to it, and it can be made into a veneer. So a veneer is a very thinly cut piece of wood that's used to cover other woods to give it a nicer look. Also, maples, field maples such as this, the wood can sometimes have sort of knotty and gnarly growths on it like this. So what that will create is what they call bird's eye maple, which is it's like a knotty pattern that's used for tables, and it's said that the Romans valued this timber more than their weight in gold, and it's where a well-known saying is said to have come from. When the Roman men were complaining and moaning about their wives spending money on jewellery, the wives would then turn the tables for the because the husbands would often buy very expensive furniture, and tables being one of them, which were made out of this bird's eye knotty field maple wood. In the spring, when the sap starts to rise up, it can be used like the sort of Canadian maple, and it can be tapped for maple syrup. I've never tried it, but apparently you can extract the syrup in the spring. Another traditional use for the wood was for making what they called mazes, which were ceremonial communal drinking bowls associated with rituals such as wassailing. It's thought that in parts of Europe that hanging branches of field maple around the front door would stop bats coming in. Also, it's said that in medieval times, passing a field maple branch over a child would remove any witchcraft from them. So there we go, the field maple. Like I said, it's quite an unnoticed one, and undoubtedly you would know it, but you've probably walked past it. So I hope I've given you a few sort of pointers of what to look out for and how to find it. So there we go, next time you're out and about, see if you can spot it. Look for those helicopter seeds, and good luck.